Now today we will be discussing physics paper 5 and the dreaded question, that is forming the experiment. Now in my experience, this is the toughest question that has been asked in the exams because it does not have any format. It can be asked from each and everything. Again, the lines are pretty blurred, but what I feel that the expected question could be for this year is this one. The properties of many magnetic materials are affected by temperature. One effect is the loss of permanent magnetism. When the temperature of a magnetic material exceeds a particular value, this is known as CAIE point. Design an experiment to investigate how the magnetic field strength of a magnet depends on the temperature. So this is the expected question that I am thinking that would be asked, and we will be designing a proper experiment in order to find out and in order to find out that how this would be performed. Okay. Now the most important thing is to find the dependent and the independent variables in this. Okay. So now first of all, the temperature limit. Zero to 200. So it means that which instrument we would be using? Yes, any guesses? We would be using thermocouple. Okay. Now the other thing, what are the dependent and the independent variables? First things first. What is the dependent variable in this case? Yes, which one is it? The dependent variable is basically the magnetic field strength, because we are talking about the loss in magnetism. So it is magnetic field strength. Now when we talk about independent variable, what is the independent variable then? Of course, the independent variable is easy to guess, that is the temperature, because the temperature varies between 0 to 200 degrees. Okay. Now, couple of things we have to look forward to. First things first. First thing, 0 to 200 degrees, we are using a thermocouple. Okay. Okay. Now, another thing, that is for measuring the magnetic field strength, what we would be using for that? Yes, any guesses? Yes, we would be using a Hall probe. Why I am going pretty slow? Because this is a thing which has been tested readily in the exams, yet there are very few resources for it, and you have to perform the experiment and form the experiment there and there on your own. So this is really insightful and really depressing for the students as well. Okay, now let's make a thing. What we have to do? We have to find the effects, that how it depends on the temperature. Right? So which things can exceed a temperature of 100 degrees? So it would be oil, because oil is a general thing. Okay, now the most important part that I am going to do, and that is to make a diagram, and this is the essential part. So it's more like this tub, and in this okay, now what I will be performing, I would be putting the elements. Okay, so the material that I have, okay, the materials that we are having, okay, this is one, and we have a thermocouple attached to it, so that it reaches, this is the thermocouple that is being attached to it, so it reaches the 200 degree mark, so you should be aware of it. And right perpendicular to it, there should be the Hall probe that should be placed. right perpendicular to it. Okay. Okay, next thing is how to make the temperature reach 200 degrees. That is the heating element, the symbol. Please look at those symbols that have been provided in the practical guidelines that are provided by the examiners. If you have the booklet, kindly take it from your schools. If you don't have them, kindly write it in the comments. Now, which material can go to 200 degrees? Because water cannot go to 200 degrees. So, I am just saying that this is oil, because oil can exceed 200, can go to higher temperatures. Okay, this is it. And one more thing if you want to add, and that is the stirrer, right? Where should I place this? Over here. Okay, so this is the stirrer. Now because it is reaching 200 degree temperature, so I have put ice cube shaving, so these are ice cube shavings in order to balance it out. Now mark all the apparatus. This is the stirrer to stir it. This is the electrical heater or the heating electrical. Okay, oil is done. This is the thermocouple, and it should be placed, the hall probe. One limitation of the hall probe, or the thing we should be followed, is that it should be perpendicular, like I have placed it. It should be perpendicular to the target. So this is the target, it should be perpendicular, and this is the thermocouple. Okay, we will be completing this in the next part. I hope that you guys would be able to understand this and would be able to find this out. I have made this diagram. So this is the expected question that I am thinking, and we will be completing this in the next class. What we have to do, we have to determine, right? What we have to determine? Magnetic flux density, and that is B. Okay, and the V basically would be measured. Now how we would be measuring this, I am just writing the formula so that you guys have some idea. This is B over B naught is equivalent to V over V naught, and we will be determining this from this equation. I hope that this will really help you out. This is the end of part 1.